All right, everybody, welcome again to another one of our devotionals. Today we're going to be looking into Ecclesiastes 3, and we're going to be reading from 1 to 8. And I really, really like this chapter, so let's read it. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So much wisdom behind Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, Psalms. Amazing stuff right there. And I like to read these verses often because they remind me of what God has planned for us. Many times we can become very impatient with God. And we may be doing everything we're supposed to be doing, such as, we're praying and we're studying His Word and we're going to church and we're helping others. We're being Christians, we're sharing the gospel with those that are not saved, and we're doing all the things that we should be doing, and at the same time we may be going through a situation, or we may need for God to provide us with something, and it seems to take longer and longer every time. It seems like if God's not listening to our prayers, and yet we're over here, we're working and we're laboring for Him, and I don't know, maybe that's just me, but it happens from time to time, but patience is part of one of the fruits of the Holy Spirit in our lives, and that's in Galatians chapter 5, I believe. But the only way that we can develop patience is by going through something. That's what also James said. And I personally have gone through these types of situations many times, from searching for employment to money problems to health issues, prayers that I still have prayers today that still hasn't been answered, on and on. There's just situations, and to be honest, these situations, I realize that they will never stop to happen in our lives. After seeing my pastors, and after seeing meeting other people who have been walking with God for longer than I've been alive, and seeing that they still go through their own stuff and situations today. It's something that I realize that this is just part of God's plan for our lives. There are situations and there's things, but like we said on previous devotionals, it is all ultimately to bring us closer to grow our faith and to get closer to Him. But that's ultimately what God allows them again to get stronger in Him. And so again, this is just a reminder, guys, that if you're going through something today, just remember that there is a time for everything. As we just read it, there is a time, there is a specific time, a specific season for everything, and nothing lasts forever. Nothing, no problem ever lasts forever. Even problems, just like the Bible says, that sorrow may come in the night, but joy comes in the morning. Everything has an ending to it at some point, and things will get better, and the sun rises after a long night, ultimately, and we just gotta believe God that, like I said on another devotional, let's remind God of His Word, that there is a time to lose, but there's also a time to get. There's a time to prosper at some point. There's a time to, of course, when we're going through a hard time, like it says, there's a time to weep, and there's also a time to laugh. So we just gotta remember that there is a time for everything, and God has everything under control. We just have to take a deep breath and just trust Him, which sometimes it could be harder than it should be. At least it's been for me. But okay, guys, I hope you guys got something out of this one, and again, share this with everyone that you may know, people, Facebook, wherever. Just help us sharing this gospel to more and more people. And we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow, God willing. Goodbye.